Hello, gentlemen. Nigel Mullaney and Mr. Ian Boddy. So
Hi, Nick.
You're performing here tonight at Cymru Beats, and you've got a very impressive rig about the place.
We have.
I'm very keen to see how you. First of all, what was your aim in approaching this? Obviously, you weren't thinking it has to fit in the back of a small car.
No. Well, believe it or not, this is our actually condensed rig.
Two cars.
Yeah, 2 cars. And we've shrunk it down a little bit. But what we wanted to do really was to try and push the element of having more melodic content insofar as sequences goes and have that being the basis for the music. It's something that we've pushed into that direction recently. So we're using the Octatrack as the master clock source, and then that's basically handling that side of things. That's firing a MIDI clock over to Ian's analog 4, and then that's slaving Ian's modular system. Yeah.
I need the mic. Yeah, the mic has to point at the speaker.
Right. Yeah. Obviously my Electron analog 4 slaves to Nigel's, and then I've got one of the CV gate outputs which goes to the rig here.
And how have you approached the modular? Have you got some preset voice paths, or is it one big patch?
You probably noticed there's blue cables, red cables, yellow cables, and grey. There's 4 patches on here.
You're one of those guys.
I'm one of those guys. Yeah, I like to see what's going on. So, yeah. Patch 1 is various noise, little radio being tuned here. There's a waveform, wavetable synthesizer, the morphing terrarium going through a frequency shifter, and then I've got that on ring mod as well. Voice 2 is the tip-top one, which I've got various musical beds, the ambient beds coming through.
Oh, lovely.
Then 3 and 4 are sequencer voices, which are going through. The DPO is producing 1, and then the audio frequency generator. This one's actually using, let's turn that one down slightly. This is using random sources, either from this one or the woggle bug through a quantizer. So I've got random arpeggios, effectively,
right?
On top of the sequences, okay. And then I'm playing the Ons Martino on top.
Yes, I wanted to check that. I mean, that's quite a kind of an unusual instrument to play live. Although I guess it was originally played live.
Quick play. I'll give the microphone to man tonight.
Oh yeah, let's have a look.
So I'm actually using the O coast as the voice. Okay, so we have the ring, which controls pitch. I've got a little head tuner here, make sure I'm on tune. This, nothing happens until I do this. And then...
Oh, so you're using that to kind of show that you're...
Yeah, and then I've got a long delay, which we've got tuned to the timing of the beat, so the phrases will build up. And I've also got a modulation here on the joystick.
A man after my own heart. There's lots of like time-based business on the end of it. So is it fair to say your set's kind of on the ambient side of kind of...
There's ambient sections, but there's full-on beats as well, which Nigel controls from the Electron setup over there.
Right, okay.
Let me just turn off the tape delay so it doesn't keep going on and on and on. Excuse me.
So the Zero Coast, that's interesting. It's nice to see that in there as well. How do you find the Zero Coast?
It's great. It's this whole West Coast, East Coast kind of idea. For me, it's more West Coast. No filters in there, so you've got to use the overtones and the wave multipliers. So you can see on the Ons Martino keyboard here, the French connection. This one controls the pitch, but these 3, one of them's controlling the VCA, which obviously gets louder and softer. Yeah. The other 2 are going into the overtone amount and the multiply amount, so the timbre changes.
Right, okay.
And then this is going into the rate of the slope, which is controlling the balance. So as I dig into that gives you this sort of ring modulation.
So you get that nice expressive.
It's very expressive. Most expressive keyboard I've ever played is the French Connection.
Excellent. Cool. So now perhaps we can get on to you, Nigel.
Yes,
thank you, Ian. Over at this end, there seems to be a lot of Electron stuff here.
Yeah.
You've always got the... Well, is that the full set?
It is, yeah. I've got the rest of the bits at home. So I'm a bit of an Electron nut. I like the fact that you can work within the box. One of the things that I like to do, myself and Ian are both media composers. We write for film and television. Yeah.
Yeah, you've got repeatability.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of like it's good to come from a different angle rather than being sat in front of Pro Tools or Ableton, and it's good for building up sets. So what I've got on here is I'm actually really using the Octatrack quite minimally. I'm just using it for an occasional bit of percussion. The machine drum is handling pretty much all the hi-hats, and then I've got the analog 4. I'm getting a few voices from there, and then the Electron is handling kick and snare. I've also got in the percussion section, I've got the Variegate 8. And I've got eight outputs from the Variegate 8, and that's going to peaks, which is doing a kick and a snare. I really love the kick drum on the peaks. And I've got some drums, I've got a one trigger and a sample, and then hidden in there I've got a taiko and I've got a neuron as well. So that just adds an extra element. And the way that we've kind of worked on the set is we've got all the tools and all the sort of like building requirements in place, and the idea is we're just going to develop it as we see it.
So you've got kind of some basic themes, and then you just improvise around those, right?
Yeah, a question I got asked is like, so you know, how are you changing between songs on the Electron? And we're not doing that. I'm actually changing the patterns in real time depending on what Ian plays. So in many ways we're kind of bouncing off one another.
So okay, I have a question for you. How do you know when it's time to finish a song then, if you've got no structure?
Because I tell them to stop.
Or I tell him to stop.
That's enough of that now. Yeah,
it's just instinct. You just know when. Yeah. So we do what you do, and also we've got a relatively short space of time, 45 minutes, four tracks with these ambient interludes. Experience, I suppose. You just know when it's about time to stop.
In a clock.
In a clock.
Instinct.
Yeah.
Musical instinct.
Yeah. Gentlemen, so is there anything else I need to look at? What have you
got? I mean, one of the things that I will say is I've always had a big issue, like many people, is getting the sync right on modular systems and using it with external equipment. And I recently got the Moleko Sync, which I'm finding so tight, it's so solid, it's absolutely, you know, there's no complaints with it at all. I've tried it on the USB, and I've also tried it directly on MIDI, and it's firing everything off. So it's become like the heart of getting the Electron equipment and the external equipment talking with the modulars, and I'm really, really pleased with that. Very pleased. And one of the things that I've also just got recently is the Tonestar 8106 from Studio Electronics.
The Roland E.
Yeah, the Roland one. Oh, it's just, it's fabulous. It's really good. And I'm using that with the Moog Mooga Fuga delay. And it's just to basically drop the envelopes up a little bit, add a little bit of texture into the track, and it's got its own sound as that Tonestar. A lot of guys that are into modular stay away from single voice modules, but for me it's just great because I can get it in there, leave it. I've got no cables in the way of it, and I can just get in.
Something to be said for that, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's very good.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope the gig is as fun as our chat, and I'm sure it will be. And we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Nick. Cheers. All the best.